This program contains true stories of rescues. All of the 911 calls you will hear are real. Whenever possible, the actual people involved have helped us reconstruct the events as they happened.
While New York City firefighters continue to try and make their way up through the burning building to the two men trapped on the 12th floor, time seemed to be running out for one of the victims.
As the smoke and fire kept on building up, the guy kept on inching his way out towards the window.
When we reached the flyer floor, I went up to the roof to get a more clear picture of where they were trapped in relation to the stairway we were on. Everybody, it seemed to me from across the street, was pointing down at a certain spot.
Yo, up here!
And I saw the first victim.
All right, just stay right there.
I was screaming to get his attention so at least he'd know help was on the way. But he was in a lot of trouble. I didn't think we were gonna have time to save him, much less the second guy.
Patty, hook up the right? Yeah.
I knew we had to go over the roof to get him.
One of the men in Lieutenant Brown's unit would have to be lowered by rope to the victims trapped on the 12th floor. Firefighter Patty Barr was assigned to the rope that day. Though he had been trained for it, Patty had never been involved in this type of rescue before.
To put my men in this dangerous situation was a difficult thing to do. A good friend and mentor of mine in the fire department was killed in exactly the same type of operation where the rope snapped and they fell 8 floors to their death. But there was no other way. It was the last resort.
Come on up, Patty. Just come on up.
Kevin Shea also had never done a rope rescue before. As the anchorman, he would tie the rope to his harness and control the speed of Patty's descent.
I yelled back to my men. I said, "Let's go, hurry up, hurry up." I thought he was gonna jump right then. While the other men were getting ready, Patty got up on a parapet just so the guy could see his foot, and maybe that would hold him on another couple seconds.
Firefighter Barr was already going over the edge.
But due to the construction of this building, there was nothing for Kevin Shea to anchor himself on. The victim had only a few seconds to live. We had to make a decision real quick what we were going to do.
That's it. Let's go. Lay on it, Patty. All right, here we go. You ready?
Pat O'Keefe and Bruce Newberry just laid on top of Kevin.
We had to use ourselves as human anchors. There was no way that I could sink even my hands into anything to grab so that I wouldn't lose Kevin. What was going through my mind was when this civilian jumps on, what's going to happen?
Yeah, I got you. Good. Yeah.
The victim just fell out into his arms. And this pulled my men up into almost half-standing position.
Hold on, Kevin. Gotcha. Hold on. Okay.
That was the most intense 5 seconds of my life, but everybody held on.
Hold it.
It seemed like an eternity up on the roof.
Whoops. This is unbelievable. It's like in the movie now, yeah. Exactly like in the movie. This is real life, my friend. There's no bullshit. There's no blood loss.
As soon as they brought him inside the building, everybody was cheering. He even waved. The fireman waved, you know, and just to show that, you know, hey, you know, New York's all right.
You were happy for 2 seconds, and then you knew you had to get right back to work. Because there was another man on 48th Street side.
When we continue,
He was giving the orders to lower, and I watched the rope go through my hands, and the rope was already frayed.
Kevin now took firefighter Barr's position and hooked himself into the rope.
Let's go. Hold on. All right, Kevin. All right, go. Yeah. You got a person on it?
firefighter Ray McCormick was with another ladder company.
A fireman handed me the rope and asked me if I knew how to do this. There is a certain amount of trust that firemen have with each other, but this was an extremely critical situation. There was no time for lies. And I said to him, yes, I do know how to do it. And that was no bull.
All right, Kevin, go ahead. Go ahead. We're ready, Lou. Go. Go. Go.
He was giving the orders to lower, and I watched the rope go through my hands, and the rope was already frayed. And that, like, sent a shiver through my body, that the rope was already frayed.
A little more, another few feet.
The people on the street were unbelievable. You could hear them. 13 flights up. They just kept getting louder and louder. We had done it, and it was just very gratifying, and it was just a special moment for me. Never forget it.
The two men rescued from the 12th floor, Jose Gallegos and Peter Lewis, were taken to the hospital and treated for smoke inhalation. More than 100 firefighters fought the blaze for another hour before it was extinguished. But not a single life was lost that day.
Feel like a hero now?
Yes. No, I don't feel like a hero.
Why not?
Because when you see the two firemen hanging from ropes, everybody thinks that those two guys are heroes and that this is the whole rescue, and it's not. That's not the way it is at all.
It's a tremendous team effort. I was the one to go over on the rope, but there would have been 100 guys to grab that rope out of my hand to go over. I took a lot of the glory, but everybody deserves it. I think the whole fire department deserves it.
And everybody came out alive.
Anybody else on this side? Kevin, baby.
Hello, Laura. Hello, Kevin.
Three months have passed since the incident, but neither Jose Gallegos nor Peter Lewis can forget the men who gave them a second chance at life.
How you doing? There we go. Jose, how you doing, man? How you feeling, all right? How you been? Good.
After the fire, when I was able to go out, I felt I had to go and see them. And I had to hug these guys and say thank you and share a moment.
The ladder only reached the 5th floor. Since the fire, every so often I think back to it and I say, gee, you know, I actually am still here. Man, what a day. I'm lucky that Kevin was on duty that day.
They risk their own lives. They just don't think. They just go and do it and save you.
Hey, it's definitely good to see you guys, man.
And they saved me.
You know, still here.
Next.
I knew that if they didn't come out, the raccoon was going to die. Well, that little son of a gun's going to strangle up there like that.
Richard White of Shreveport, Louisiana, lived an ordinary life. But when he left his home on the morning of November 17, 1990, his quiet world was turned upside down by a stranger hanging around his house.
Saturday morning, I was leaving to go to a little town called Homer to work on a church window. Heard a loud rustle in the tree, which I just thought was just a big squirrel. And when I looked up, I saw this raccoon. The fact that there was a raccoon there was strange. You don't think of seeing a raccoon in the daytime. So I went inside and told my wife, Rhonda.
Come down here, look at this. What is it?
She looked like she was kind of fighting. I could hear the scratching of the claws and kind of a growling type sound. Her head was completely inside the limb.
When we saw it dangling with all 4 legs in the air, we knew it was stuck.
Fire department. Yes. I was wondering if y'all could help y'all help raccoons?
Do we help raccoons?
Yeah, there's a raccoon.
No, you have to
They told me that I should call animal control. They gave me the number and I called animal control.
But animal control had no equipment to get that high up in a tree, so Rhonda called back 911.
Animal control won't do it either. They won't go up in a tree. Y'all won't do this?
The policy for animal rescue is usually if it endangers the life of a fireman or if you think they're going to fall out of the tree or anything like that, you usually don't send.
Rhonda then called her father, Ted Griffin.
We had an emergency going there. I had to get gone. When Rhonda calls, Daddy has to go.
Meanwhile, Richard and Rhonda's neighbor, Reggie Hargrove, was on his way out to play golf.
Hey, Reggie! He said, you won't believe it. I said, what? He said, I'm not going to tell you. You just have to come look. Naturally curious, I went and looked, and there is, I think we call him Rocky, hanging, and it was an absolutely pitiful sight. Well, that little son of a gun's going to strangle up there like that. Did you call 911?
No, I don't want
They're going to get up in the tree 35 or 30, 40 feet and shimmy out on this limb, and I just said, this is ridiculous. Let me go make a phone call here.
There he is.
Within 10 minutes, Rhonda's father, Ted, a retired landscaper, arrived with his ladder, rope, and chainsaw.
He chased evidently some varmint of one kind or another into a dead limb on this oak tree and now has his head stuck. and it's going to die.
Dispatcher Kathy Salter handled the third 911 call.
And some of the neighbors actually think they're going to get up in that tree and release him, and all that's going to do is cause somebody to get knocked out of the tree or get clawed up.
The neighbors were really fixing to start climbing the tree. I was afraid somebody might get hurt. I told him I would send a district chief out there to see if there was something that we could do.
By then, some of the kids had seen it, and they were coming out there to watch Rocky.
It's a pretty big tree. I'm not real secure with heights either.
Richard had a bad back. He was crawling up into the tree. He'd lost his sense of priorities between his own safety and getting the raccoon down. I just kept telling him, get out of the tree, Rambo. You know, you're going to hurt yourself. And he kept telling me to be quiet.
I just didn't want to see it die. There just wasn't any point in watching an animal like that suffer.
All you got to do is put a dart in him and knock him out and pull him out.
Nobody knew what they were doing, I don't think. I could tell that pretty quick.
You don't need to go up there.
Oh, it ain't gonna hurt. I'll make it all right.
Here's his 70-something-year-old father-in-law climbing up on the ladder, and Rhonda is sitting at the foot of the ladder, absolutely beside herself, going, Daddy, if Mother finds out that you do it, she'll just kill you. It reminded me of Laurel and Hardy trying to rescue a raccoon.
This will look good for her.
Shreveport District Fire Chief Charles Scarborough arrived at the scene.
They said that there was a coon hanging in a tree. And I thought to myself, a coon hanging in a tree? I said, that's where the coon lives, in a tree. You liable to fall and get hurt there. Let's wait. I'll get an aerial truck out here. Headquarters District 5, could you get us a ladder truck out here, an aerial truck? The thing about a cat in a tree that we've been calling a lot of rescues of cats is that a cat will come down. I told the lady the other day, I said, ma'am, I said, answer me this question. Have you ever seen a cat skeleton in a tree?
I knew it was suffering. You could hear it growling and snarling and straining, trying to get out. And then it would just collapse with fatigue.
Sure enough, about that time the fire truck came down, we realized we were outnumbered, so we just come back down the ladder and let the firemen have it.
A raccoon is a very dangerous animal, especially one that's cornered. I have seen a cornered raccoon tear into a human being. They go straight for the face and do some damage.
Well, I decided to just cut it off and carry the limb down with the coon so that less chance of the coon getting hurt.
This raccoon took a dump right there. It was so scared.
It's okay, little fella. He ain't mad, though. He's scared. He's not happy with it. No, he's not. He's so scared he gets shit. Hope he can't reach my...
Oh my God.
So he grabbed both ends of the limb with the coon hanging in the middle and backed right on down that ladder. Him, coon, rope, and all.
All right, some of y'all want to get down and grab this? Can y'all get it from down there? After we got him down, the coon did show signs of being extremely weak.
Then they realized that they couldn't get his head out of that hole. I just imagine he was wondering what in this world is going on out there.
We was going to have to open the log up in order to get the coon's head out. We decided to split the log like you would split a piece of firewood, which was the best way to do it.
We held the raccoon and made sure that we weren't making the raccoon suffocate.
Okay, quiet, get it on. Oh, man. Here you go. All right, y'all watch. Yeah. Let him go. Just let him go. Watch it, y'all. You got
Here he goes with the coon, holding it out in front of him like he's afraid it's going to drip on him or something.
The coon turned his head toward my driver's hand, and the driver said he started to chew on his glove, and at that time he decided he'd better release the coon.
Because he could just see the coon turning on him.
He got my yard and he climbed up the tree and went back to his mom and dad.
I do feel that animals are a real important part of our lives. We do have a responsibility to at least take care of what we come across in life. If we're led to an animal or an animal's led to us that needs our help, I think it's our responsibility to help them.
It was probably the most exciting thing that happened here in Shreveport for the entire month.
When a life is on the line, you need to know who to call. If your community does not have 911, learn the emergency numbers for your area and post them by each phone. This series is dedicated to all the men and women who know what to do in an emergency and are there when we need them most. I'm William Shatner. Join us again next week for more true stories on Rescue 911.
Step out of the car, please.